on frame 1. If you have some extra frames here like I do, no problem. Just select everything except for frame 1, right click on it and choose remove frames. So now I just have one blank keyframe there. So what I want to do first before we go on is I want to change the registration of Circle Expand Solo, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Double click on Circle Expand Solo, and if we go here, you can see that all the action is taking place just above our crosshair, which is the center registration. I want to move all of these frames so that they basically take place on the center of the crosshair. Now if I just go and grab, I could do that by grabbing each frame, each keyframe and doing that, but that's going to be kind of clunky because they're perfectly registered on top of each other. I don't want to lose that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this third choice down here, which is called Edit Multiple Frames. And Edit Multiple Frames allows me to, let me expand the range out here all the way. It allows me to go out here, click and drag, and select all of these keyframes across the timeline at once, and move them all together down onto that center point. Now, the other option that I have to make this even slicker is to go up here to my Align palette, choose Align to Stage, click here to align horizontal center, click here to align vertical center, and everything will be perfectly aligned onto that crosshair and all these keyframes at once. Turn this back off and do a quick test, and everything's aligned on that crosshair. And that's going to make it a little bit easier for us to align whenever you have these kind of invisible symbols with 0% alpha, that if they're aligned on that crosshair, it makes things a little bit easier. So let's go back to scene 1. So we have nothing out here, but our library is ready for us to do some funky business. So let's go ahead and drag an instance of Circle Expand Solo out onto the stage. Alright, so there we go. Can't really see it there. When we select it, if we click and drag, we can select that invisible symbol. But once we click off, it's harder for us to see. But just click and drag and you remember where it is. I'm going to now expand the range. I want that symbol to go on for 10 frames. So I'm going to right click on frame 10 and I'm going to insert a frame. And all that does is it doesn't add any new keyframes, it just pulls this range out. Anytime you want to adjust the range, hold down the Command key and drag that end anywhere you want. But go ahead and leave it set on frame 10, and that'll serve us nicely. Now I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to add a new blank keyframe on frame 5. Right click, insert blank keyframe, or convert to blank keyframe. There we go. Either of those will work. And I'm going to drag a new instance of Circle Expand Solo out here. And I'm going to try to align it exactly on top of that first instance. So I'm going to turn on my onion skin. And let's see if I can do that. So there they are. And let's see if I have any tricks here that'll let me. Sure enough, okay. What I've done is I've turned on the wireframe option here in my timeline. And what that does is it lets me see the wireframe outline of the symbol, which makes it easier for me to then go ahead and align these on top of each other, just by dragging and dropping them. Now I can turn those back off, and I can do a quick test. Command return. So now we have those two things expanding, and it's not looking quite right, but I'll show you how we're going to deal with that. So what I'm going to do is, just to remind ourselves, go back to Circle Expand Solo. This is a 10 frame animation. go back to the scene. We expanded the first instance to 10 frames. Let's go ahead and expand this instance to 10 frames. So we've got 5 to 10, so let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need 4 more frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're going to expand it out to 14. Hold down the Command key and drag that range out. So we've got 10 frames here, 10 frames here. Okay. Test it, Command return. All right. Okay, let's do that whole thing one more time. Insert a new layer. Whoops, drag it up to the top of the stack here. Let's go to frame 10, let's say. Insert a blank keyframe on our new layer. Drag a new instance of Circle Expand Solo out here. Turn on the wireframe option. Go ahead and drag that so it lines up perfectly on top of that. Hold down Command, expand this range out to, there we go. And let's do Command return again to test our movie. Now we have this cool little kind of radiating microwaves pattern here.